Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Dark to Light podcast brought to you by Patriot Gold. The CEO of Wells Fargo warns that the worst is yet to come for Americans, and Deutsche Bank is forecasting a major recession with similarities to 70s era stagflation and real wealth destruction. We're seeing that kind of play out all over the place right now. If the playbook follows the 1970s, gold and silver are the standout cheap asset from this starting point, according to Deutsche Bank strategists. Bloomberg Intelligence forecasts $2,500 gold by year's end. And meanwhile, Goldman Sachs and Wells Fargo see gold hitting record highs in 2022. Former Gold Corp chairman Ian Tilfer warns that, quote, peak gold has been reached regarding maximum output, and for that reason raised his forecast to $2,400 to $2,500 an ounce. Jeffrey said their long-term forecast remains in place for gold prices to push to $5,500 an ounce. You can call the Patriot Gold Group today before it's too late. They have the no fee for life IRA, where your IRA or 401k can be in physical gold and silver, and you may actually be eligible for the no fee for life IRA on qualifying rollovers. Call 800-356-4470 for a free investor guide today. Patriot Gold Group is a Consumer Affairs top-rated gold IRA dealer 6 years in a row. Call 800-356-4470. Do it as soon as the show ends. Make sure your money is safe throughout these tumultuous times, and thank you so much.
Radio Influence. The future is now.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Dark to Light podcast with
the pasta tossing Mike Opelka and
Beanz. Not pizza tossing,
positively tossing. Yeah, we're throwing crap at the wall and see if it's
yes. If you are
Isn't that where that comes from? That expression comes from because you throw the pasta at the wall and if it sticks, it's done.
Well, that would be al dente, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know, Al. You know, we didn't have too many Italians in my neighborhood. That's some people in the Midwest say Italian. They say Italian.
Al is one of the best Italians there are. Come on.
I'm all for al dente. I'm for al fresco, al dente. I love all the Al's. Let's just put it that way.
If you're not smart enough to be at the uncoverdc.com/locals or uncoverdc-locals.com page, you won't know what we're talking about.
There are days I don't know what we're talking about.
You're not supposed to say that out loud.
I'm sorry. The voices in my head said that.
For real.
For reals. Why did we put an S on the end of for real?
I don't know. I didn't. You did.
But the kids do.
The kids don't even speak in full words anymore, let alone.
Whatever.
Viviana is walking around yesterday. Okay, Dad, TBH. And I'm like, can you just say to be honest? Is it that hard? Like, come on.
Wow. Yeah, that's good. That's good. So we have a lot of things not planned for today's show.
Yes. And we're going to start with the first unplanned topic, Mike.
Okay.
Yesterday was primary day in what? Nevada, Texas.
And then a couple other flyover states.
South Carolina.
South Kakalaki, where hang 10 used to mean something very different back in the 60s.
My God.
No? Is that wrong? Can we not say that?
I don't know.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Good. Well, that joke I borrowed from Orlando Jones, who's from South Carolina, and he called it South Kakalaki. He's now an actor, comic in Hollywood, and he often opined, when I moved out here, I learned that hang 10 meant something very different than it means in California.
Well,
he's a black man, you see.
I do. I see that now. I do. I live here too, Mike.
Well, I know. You're a South Kakalakian.
I live in Tom Rice's district.
And how's that working out? Give me a summary of last night's primary results, because I know that Donald Trump had endorsed a bunch of people, and some of them won, some of them didn't. I think he's like 129 and 13 or something in his endorsements overall.
So Nancy Mace was the incumbent down in the Charleston area, which is heavily Democrat, let's just say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And up here in the northern part of the state in District 7 is Tom Rice, who was obviously voted to impeach him after January 6th. And other than that, was always really, really great honestly. But that...
Rice voted to impeach him. Nancy Mace did not, but she was critical of Donald Trump and like his tweeting. She was not happy about all the tweeting.
So look, Nancy Mace, if you look at her voting record, is a staunch conservative.
All right.
Staunch, okay? But she goes on CNN and she says things that would make our heads explode with anger. Like, how could this woman, like, she wore a mask on the steps of the thing with all the other freshman Democrats. Like, she's done things that you're like, what in the hell are you doing? This is not okay. But when you think about it and you contrast it with her voting record, you're like, okay, maybe she's just playing to her base, which is Democrat in her district.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So given all of that, I've seen her on some committees where I've been like, wow, that's pretty impressive. But I don't like the pandering. I don't like it. So I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of Nancy Mace. However, Trump decided to endorse somebody who was challenging her in the primary, named Katie Arrington, who also had run a few years earlier against a guy named Joe Cunningham, who was a Democrat. She got into an absolutely horrific car accident. I don't know if you remember.
I don't.
Oh, Katie Arrington almost died in a car accident in the midst of her campaigning. And she lost to Joe Cunningham. She lost to him. And so she came back again this cycle to run against Nancy Mace in the primary, and Trump endorsed Katie Arrington, and Katie Arrington lost. So Nancy Mace remains. So now,
well, that's a good thing. I also understand that Donald Trump on his birthday yesterday, Flag Day, sent a response and kind of a congratulations to Nancy Mace.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, he said, I'm going to hopefully see you win your election. So while she didn't get his endorsement after the fact, Donald Trump did what many would consider to be the right thing for the party and say, go forward.
Well, we can't lose the first in the South to Democrats.
No.
So yeah, there's that. And then in my district, Trump endorsed probably the most absolutely horrific candidate that you could ever want, who is a complete scumbag, in my opinion, who thinks that he is too important to talk to his constituents, who doesn't pay local, very much involved, like people that are very involved in local issues and local politics, any mind whatsoever, and ignored us all because he got an endorsement that he used to carry him over the finish line. But he is not a conservative. He is one of the more like left leaning voters in the state. He was a state rep here in South Carolina who votes with the left or doesn't vote at all more times than he actually votes on a conservative like Beanz.
So why would Donald Trump endorse him?
Because the chair of our party here in South Carolina, who is a corrupt jerk.
Yeah, you really got to stop suppressing your feelings.
I'm sorry. I don't care anymore. So I'm putting it all out there. Told him with Governor McMaster, who's our governor, that he should endorse this guy to run. And outside of the pleadings of so many people, I mean, so many people, he did endorse him. And the problem is he had no substance in his campaign at all. He literally ran by saying, Trump endorsed me. That's all he did. And because we're a very heavily red district here, like people, he put on his signs above his little like lawn signs, he put Trump endorsed and put his lawn signs out. Like he had no substance in his campaign at all. Just Trump endorsed me, so vote for me. That was it. And he won.
So is he likely to win in the general?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, there is really no Democrat that can win in the general here.
I guess that's a good thing. The question we have, though, is can Nancy Mace win? Because I think she's in one of those districts they're going to pour a lot of money into. Yeah,
they will pour a lot of money. And the guy that she beat Joe Cunningham. Joe Cunningham is running for governor. So it is definitely like people don't want to believe, but South Carolina is one of the more it's the most left-leaning conservative state in the whole country.
Yeah, well, didn't you give us Clyburn?
Yes.
That guy is just such a problem, such a weasel, James Clyburn, because he gave us Biden. He's the one who made the deal to get Biden across the finish line in the primaries for the Democrats.
That South Carolina was the turning point. Yep. Yeah. And South, they're after us here, like hardcore. They're after South Carolina. And the GOP does nothing to get out of its own way. So I am on the executive committee. So my job, Mike, is to represent the entire county here of Horry County at the state level for the GOP. That's what I do. So the fact that they have like literally gone around us to get what they want done, like our whole executive committee and Greenville, which is the other biggest county in South Carolina, they've set up private clubs and they're running GOP business through these private clubs instead of through the actual GOP because they don't like us.
Well, that's kind of shady.
It's illegal by charter, by the bylaws. And he announced that he was doing it and nobody held him accountable because we have a bunch of freaking morons in this state who don't understand the forest for the trees. Like they think, oh, these people are crazy. And I'm like, it's terrible. It's terrible.
It's like what Robbie Starbuck ran into.
Yes. It's been really, really horrible doing this. It has been an absolutely horrible experience. I'm in the middle of a defamation lawsuit that was used as a political cudgel against us. Like the lawyer wrote a letter saying, if these people step down, we'll drop this lawsuit. And if they don't, then we're going to sue everybody. It was literally blackmail. And here I am.
Wow.
It's been something. When I'm done here, I'm gonna just you wait. Just you wait. What I'm not saying is more than
that's okay. You can hold back. But I have a question.
Yes.
Looking forward to 2024. Is it possible you could be a delegate on the floor at the convention?
This portion of the podcast has been edited to avoid censorship. If you guys want to hear the full version of the podcast, you can go to our Rumble channel at Uncover DC, or you can go to our website, uncoverdc.com, underneath podcasts.